A few days after various delegations of athletes from European countries arrived in Paris, representatives of the royal houses are arriving here. Frederick and Mary of Denmark arrived in the country yesterday. Like King Felipe and Queen Letizia, the Danish king and queen met with their country's athletes as the starting point for the 2024 Olympic Games. The opening ceremony will take place today at the Trocadero Square, but today is a more solemn day for Frederick and Mary. They met and fell in love with each other at the Sydney Olympics in 2000. Back then, the young Danish crown prince, who was in Australia for the Olympics, decided to have a drink in one of the city's pubs with his brother Nicholas, the Greek, and Martha Louise of Norway. Meanwhile, Mary, an advertising manager, was partying with friends at the same establishment. It is not known how Frederick and Mary ended up dancing the night away, but he was in love with her and they exchanged phone numbers. A few years later, Mary admitted in an interview that she didn't know who they were at first. I didn't know who they were. About half an hour later, one of my classmates comes to me and asks, "Do you know that these people are princes?" They continued to meet in those days. And shortly afterward, Frederick left Australia to return to Denmark, although he promised Mary that they would keep in touch, and they did so through correspondence, emails and text messages. As their courtship continued, Mary moved to Denmark, and finally, in 2003, they announced their engagement. Walking down the aisle on May 14, 2014. They have 4 children: Christian, Isabella, Vicent, and Josephine. And on January 14th, they became King of Denmark after Margrethe abdicated. This came after several turbulent months for their marriage due to pictures of Frederick on the streets of Madrid published in November. Now, 24 years after that first meeting, returning to the Olympics, and even as king and queen, is an important milestone in their lives and in their marriage, and such a special occasion deserves a first outing, which is exactly what Queen Mary did with her style. Unlike other royals, such as Queen Letizia, who chose French fashion as a sign of respect for the country where the games are held, Frederick's wife opted for an Italian brand. In addition to the color, a vibrant shade of red, the cut of the piece attracted attention. Thanks to the clean lines and minimalist pattern, this sleeveless piece has very wide legs. Moreover, the lower part, that is, the pants, has a side cut, which is also called a wrap, which in practice instantly slims the figure. And other details include a round neckline, a draped seam on the left shoulder, and a fitted waist. The Max Mara jumpsuit is fastened with a matching mini belt with the Max Mara logo, and Mary of Denmark slipped a white blazer over her shoulders. As shoes, she chose sandals with thin straps on the heel and carried a brown leather handbag with a short handle. In addition to the royal couple of Denmark, numerous members of the royal family attended the event. Thomas Bach, accompanied by his wife Claudia, was in charge of welcoming his guests in front of the glass pyramid of the museum where agape was offered, which was also attended by President Macron, accompanied by his wife Brigitte Kahn. And among those present were King Felipe and Queen Letizia, who came directly from the Spanish embassy in Paris. After meeting with a representative of the Spanish Olympic team, the kings headed to the Louvre for this dinner, where they had previously posed with President Bach and his wife. The Queen was wearing a Dior dress from the haute couture collection, which was given to her by the brand itself, and which she combined with comfortable heeled sandals with a bow and a black bag. All from the French house. One of the first to arrive at the dinner was King Willem-Alexander of the Netherlands. He did so alone, without the company of Queen Maxima, who will attend a meeting with the presidential couple this Friday, followed by the opening ceremony of the Games, which is also expected to be attended by her eldest daughters Alexia and Ariana. Albert and Charlene of Monaco also walked the red carpet at the Louvre. The prince is a member of the International Olympic Committee, and his wife has participated in the Olympic Games so they have a very good relationship with President Bach. Charlene opted for black color with asymmetrical sneakers and palazzo pants, in which she looked very elegant. Other royal guests included Enrique and Maria Theresa of Luxembourg, she in a brown dress with a collar hooper by Maison Rabier-Queyroux, which she paired with a lighter-colored shawl, and Felipe and Mathilde of Belgium, who arrived in Paris this afternoon by train. The Queen of Belgium was one of the most elegant of the evening, for which she chose a white jumpsuit by Nathan with a transparent fabric as a cape. For all the members of the royal family who attended this dinner, as well as Maxima of Holland, will attend the reception that the Macrons will give at the Elysee Palace. Later, already in the Trocadero, members of the royal family will follow the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games, which promise to leave us with memories to remember. The gala dinner at the Louvre and the upcoming opening ceremony of the Olympic Games in Paris were not only important sporting events, but also a significant moment for the royal houses of Europe. Meetings and dinners like this one not only show support for their national teams, but also strengthen international ties and diplomatic relations. The presence of such dignitaries emphasizes the importance of the Olympic Games as a platform for interaction and cooperation on a global level. Particular attention should be paid to the royal couple of Denmark, for whom these Olympic Games have a special significance. Meeting Frederick and Mary in Sydney in 2000 was the beginning of their romantic story, which led to their marriage and coronation, returning to the Olympic Games 24 years later. But as king and queen symbolizes the end of one life cycle and the beginning of a new one, it reminds us how sport and international events can not only unite nations, but also become important milestones in people's personal lives. The style and outfit choices of the royals are also noteworthy. Queen Mary choosing the Italian brand Max Mara and Queen Letizia opting for French fashion show respect for the fashion traditions and cultures of different countries. These details emphasize that fashion and diplomacy go hand in hand, adding sophistication and elegance to such important events. Equally important is the participation of other royal houses, such as King Felipe and Queen Letizia, King Willem-Alexander, Prince Alberto and Princess Charlene, as well as representatives from Luxembourg and Belgium. Their presence emphasizes that the Olympic Games are not only a sporting competition, but also a platform for strengthening international relations and cultural exchange. Ahead of the opening ceremony of the 2024 Olympic Games in Paris, this dinner at the Louvre has become a symbol of unity, friendship, and understanding. The royal families attending the event showed that despite political and geographical borders, sport and culture can bring people together and create unforgettable moments that will be remembered for years to come.